I guess since I got the Peach Bowl here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, can we go ahead and impeach me so I can get healthy? And I need to rest. I'm tired. And I'd really just like to disappear for a while. Learn a lot from You learn a lot about people when you stand in their shoes. You learn a lot about who Jimmy Maxwell is. You learn a lot who Zane Morris is. You learn a lot about who David McDermott is and who Dreamer Walker is. You learn a lot about who I am, who Ryan Upchurch is. You learn a lot about these people when you have the balls to stand up and walk in their shoes. I never signed a contract with nobody. I never took any money from anybody. I always offered my help. But even doing that, man, I'm going to have to sell myself. I'm going to have to sell myself. She's probably the most gangster person I've ever met in my life. She stood about this tall, little half Japanese woman. But I wouldn't have it any other way. Someone always has to be sold. Someone always has to be imprisoned in something. You have to. You always have to have one person that has the bullseye on him. Because if not, nobody would ever go anywhere. Nobody would ever listen to anybody. Nobody would ever believe in anything that anyone said. Now I know I've got grocery store security following me around, and I know who it is, Gary. I know who it all is. And I know that everybody's watched my life, and I don't care. I have nothing to hide. Never have, never will. I did exactly like I said I was going to do. I just apologize for turning my back on somebody when I should have listened to him. But if I would have listened to him, I probably wouldn't be missing two of these, but I wouldn't be getting them back. Following the rules, that's for fools, man. You have to obey just certain standards of living for people. You have to be bigger. We're only as good. We're only as great as the person on the very bottom. So when you're driving, you see a homeless person out there freezing and hungry. We're only as good as a country as that person laying there on the ground. I don't give a shit about other countries right now. I give a shit about my country. That's what matters to me. It doesn't matter if you got prisons or churches, or it doesn't matter if you have a courthouse. It doesn't matter if you have all these things you look up to, if you don't ever take time to look down on the ground and pick someone up. We should always pick the weakest one up from the bottom and lift him to the top. That's what makes us great. That's what makes us human. That's what makes us different than a tree. Trees die every winter, but we multiply. So when you're ready, Kat, I'll sign that line. We'll go do what we need to do. I guess you're gonna have to impeach my ass. I guess that's gonna be a weird fruit cocktail of a mix. Explain that one. Explain how I've always been ISIS. That is of us. There. I always have to say Jimmy 2 times. It's just another good fellow, you know. But I ain't never ratted anybody out but myself. And I wore myself out. I've ratted myself out every step of the way, but I've been honest with people from day one that come around me. Hey, you're live. You're recorded. I'm hot. You got to know this. I have everything on me. Because I knew what I said in the car that night in the truck. While I was driving you around, Kat, I knew who you were. I knew what you did. But I also knew you needed to get away. And I knew by saying the things that I said, it would implicate me in so much of the stuff that I had going on. But I love you. Just not only you're a human being to me, I love you for you being nice, just being near me. But loving something doesn't mean that you own them. You know, I've outlived everything that's tried to kill me. And you know, I've never hurt one person. I don't even like being violent. Oh, I'm good at it. I've taken hostages. I've lied to people. I didn't fall for a hustle. I just knew I was caught. And the thing is that feeling that I did something like I've been doing. It killed me to think that that was coming after somebody, because karma debt, man. But see, I knew when you knew me, and you knew everything about me, and you knew what to say to me. I wasn't dumb. Just meant first time in my life I existed. Just meant that the weight that I could throw around, that maybe I could find balance in my life. And I don't feel bad for anything I've done. It was put on me from the time of birth. But I was born in this world through bad decisions, through no preparation, through vindication, and through vendettas, and through... It wasn't until I became a value that someone wanted me. You realize we're not from this world. I just never forgot that. You know, it's time that we quit hiding behind this facade that we're all from this same planet. Because we're not. We quit lying to people, and we quit using our intelligence as leverage for the blind. You know, and you look at the calendar and you look at the letters on the calendar. December, January, February, March, April, May, DJ, FM, AM, J, JASON. I've just been hit in every calendar, every month. Who I am has been all 12 months. You know, podcasts and stuff. If you look at the little deal, it's just a guy with a big heart and sending out a signal. But if you could see the things that I could see, if you felt the things that I could feel, then you gotta realize that we gotta quit burying shit in the ground. People are one thing. You know, plantation and trees and stuff that comes from nature should recycle back to the ground. But we gotta quit putting plastic in the ground. And you need to tell them the truth about what the arch is in St. Louis, really. We need to quit lying about the apple. Everything's based off of apple because that's how the earth's shaped. It's just like a number file. It's like the forgotten number file. It's a cylinder stretched through time. Matter. Something had to create it. I didn't create it. I just create the curve. One of these days, look up in the sky. The moon should always follow the path of the sun. Because one's father and one's mother do it. You know, the earth's mother, the sun's father, or vice versa, however you want to look at it. But it takes three. It takes all three of those things to sustain life. The sun, the earth, and the moon. If you don't have those three things, if you don't have the father, the mother, then you can never have the Eve or the or. That's what you should celebrate. Because we're all on this ship together. And that's what this is, man. We're on a spaceship. This is a ship that goes through time and space that can hold oxygen and keep it. It's just being on a submarine. That is what this earth is. This earth is a submarine. And they say men are from Mars and women are from Venus. If we don't start taking care of our ship, it won't matter what skin color you are, or what race you are, or what you believe in. And ladies, it starts with you. If we don't stop overpopulating this world with these kids that no one wants to take care of, then you are the problem. Then you've created an army. You've created a society and generation after generation of people that do not respect you. I stand here today on this earth. This is a ship. This is my home. This is where we come from. This is what's taking us to wherever we're going. And if we don't respect her and take care of her, there is no miracle called America. It'll just implode and eliminate us again. So the first lesson will be to women. If you get pregnant and you choose to abort your child, if there is not life-threatening or an act of God or an act of terror that has caused you to get pregnant, and you get pregnant, and we're not going to kill any more people. We're going to start allowing people to adopt these kids so these kids have a chance. But if you're a woman that can't take care of her kids, and yes, it falls on you because you can create life. Anything that goes in you causes you to change. That is on you. You drink water, you eat food, everything you ingest is your own personal responsibility. It starts with you. From here on out, we should start putting women in prison. Yeah. Because if you can't be responsible enough to watch what you intake into your body, then you're not responsible enough to live on my planet. And then you will be asked to get off my ship.